Thank you. We're recording this session and the series of the masterclass. So if you do happen to miss a live on one of the days and you have registered, all of the replays and the workbooks will be emailed to you. What I suggest you do is, if you know that you can't make a live, allocate another 45 minutes or an hour in your calendar somewhere and use that block of time to watch the replay. That way you'll be able to continue along with the journey of the teachings, and we have so much ground to cover. So welcome in, everyone. My name is Myra Medhurst. Hi, good morning. Welcome in. My name is Myra Medhurst, and I'm the founder of the Golden Path Experience. And we've got so many new people joining this masterclass. So I'll just spend a moment introducing myself and let you know a little bit about my world, my teachings, and what brings me here today. I've got over 17 years experience in the personal development industry and the spiritual development world, that of raising the consciousness of humanity, healing, and the processes and the inner workings of self-transformation. I've been in business a really long time, and one of my first businesses was a special events management business. And I got to see behind the scenes when I would work on personal development seminars. There'd be multi-speaker events and multi-day events. And what I began to notice is people with a really big mission, really charged teachings with a huge audience. And I got to see behind the scenes of how these people were. And actually, it really blew my mind, because some of these people that I met were actually deeply different people behind the scenes. And that discrepancy for me was actually incredibly shocking. So this began a big journey of what is really happening behind the scenes internally in the individual, making that fulfilled and congruent with what it is that we are creating on our external world. And some of these people are very well known, and it was quite shocking to me to begin to feel and see this discrepancy between an outer appearance and that of the internal world. And there was a big discord there. This led me into deeper work of understanding more and more about the levels of fulfillment and contentment within, and using that as a baseline, using that as a foundational architecture piece in which I wanted to build my life. I'd always had big dreams and big hopes, and I deeply wanted to find my purpose in life. But I wanted to go about it in such a way where I didn't have to delay my gratification or delay my sense of fulfillment. It's like I wanted the joy and the fulfillment and the connection now, and to just let the process and really let nature unfold what it was that I was meant to do here. So that kind of brings me to the Golden Path teachings. The Golden Path is a beautiful mathematical divine sequence of sacred geometry of the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequence in mathematics. And it's really where proportion meets purpose. And I really wanted to find my purpose, but I wanted to do it in a way that was proportionate with nature and proportionate with the cosmos around me, because we all have our individual beautiful soul blueprint that is unique to you, that has your exquisite individual God self, which has come here to express itself. So welcome in, everyone. That's a little bit about me. I'm going to set today up with a lot of pre-frame. Today will probably run for 45 minutes to an hour. Today will most likely be the longest running day because of the context and setting up so much pre-frame on day one. I ask you to be really patient with this process. Essentially, what I'm doing is I'm giving you the master key in how to unlock yourself and detach yourself from essentially the matrix. So give me some time. Give me some time. Be patient with this process and treat every single day, every single masterclass as if it is sacred. Have intentionality. This is great work that we are investigating, that we are contemplating. So be patient and gentle and have a huge amount of compassion for yourself. Each day is very intentional and it will build upon the previous day. There's somatic processes. I've used the word in my marketing. This is a practical course. There are things that you will have to do and apply. But essentially, I actually want you to feel, and I actually don't want to convince you of anything, but I really would love you to feel the transmissions and to feel the teachings and begin the awakening process from within. If you experience any tech issues across the 5 days, for example, if you're in the Facebook group, you can comment there, leave chats, leave questions. I've got my team supporting me in Zoom and also in the Facebook group. If you experience any tech issues in Facebook, you're more than welcome to jump across in Zoom and vice versa. If Zoom's just not working for you, that's okay. You can exit the room. My team are here to support you, and then you can just watch this. It's been streaming live into the Facebook group now, the Golden Path Experience. Okay, I think that is all our housekeeping, and it has just gone 11:11. So let's begin, hey? Let's get down to business. Thank you for that alignment. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and jump into some of the workbooks. Okay, Cosmic Rewrite, a practical course to reshape your reality and create the life you want. Yes, yes, yes. This is going to be such a different journey for so many people, because essentially you may feel like that you're going on a detour. And I assure you, this is not the detour. This is actually the pathway. It's so old and it's rarely used that we don't get great models representing this particular orientation of life. And so when we're faced with a real radical crisis and the old way of being in the world is no longer working, the way we even interact with people and even with the realm of nature doesn't work anymore, we know survival for the species is being threatened. And we feel that around humanity. So many people are like, I just cannot do this anymore. I'm tired. These things just do not work. We cannot keep going on like this way. So the survival gets threatened by seemingly unsurmountable problems, and the individual human and the species begins to come into a crisis. And we see this across the planet. We know that we are on the precipice of the fork in the road. Do we continue along behaving and operating the way in which has gone past? Or do we really begin to operate from a new, upgraded, higher frequency? And that requires a different operating system in life. It requires a software update. So we will either die or become extinct, or we will actually rise to the occasion. And we are now able to take an evolutionary leap. And so if you're joining the masterclass, you're watching the replay or the live in the group, this masterclass is for you if you're wanting that evolutionary leap. If you're not, if you want things to stay the same, then this is not the masterclass for you. Welcome into day 1. This is our schedule across the next 5 days. There's still time to register. And then any of the masterclasses, all of the replays will be shared on my YouTube channel. So if you need to jump across into YouTube at a later date, you'll find them all shared there once we've got them up. So who is Myra? I've done a little introduction before, but I actually love helping coaches, creatives, healers, and New Earth visionaries build businesses. And I build businesses in entirely different ways, from a complete sense of fulfillment, connection, and divine service. Not from lack, not from avoidance, and not from attachment. And I love creating businesses that are simple, fun, and my magic and my genius zone is the teachings of that golden path, this golden ratio here, where I'm able to unify the ascension, the processes, and the healing and the transformation within with the enterprise piece. I love creating overflow in my life and in my business. I love teaching people how to work from where they want, when they want, and how they want. And essentially reshaping your reality to draw in and magnetize clients with ease and effortless from a state of presence and really understanding where the power lies within. We'll go into deeper processes around the DNA, but my life really began to take off when I began to investigate and understand the power truly laying dormant within the individual. There's a little bit more about me. So each day I'll start with a bit of an affirmation or a quote, and this kind of sets the scene for today. Self-transformation is not just about changing yourself. It's really not now. There are so many other energies at play. So this actually means shifting yourself to a completely new dimension of experience and perception. That is what we are going to explore today, an absolute shift into a whole new dimension of experience and perception. So what we're really faced with is, I'll just backtrack a bit, is in 2012, there came an end to the long count Mayan calendar, and that occurred on the 21st of December, 2012. So it's over 12 years ago now. Seems like yesterday for me. And essentially what happened from a cosmic perspective and a grander galactic scale is there came a point where the Mayans or the Aztecs were no longer able to script or to read or document, record in time what was beyond that final edge. And when I deeply think about this, I see that as an open script. There's an open book. It was also the 21st of December back 12 years ago was the furthest point that the Earth was away from the center point of the grand central sun. So it's when we're the furthest expression away. This is what we call the masculine outward principle. And that was a turning point for planet Earth. It began then her feminine principle of returning back home to the center point of the grand central sun. This is where the term comes from, return of the divine feminine. It means that we've crossed that furthest point and we're now on this inward homebound journey back to our cosmic galactic home, our divine nature. In order to do that, humanity needs to learn a lesson or two. So we are, wow, I really hope I don't have to convince many people of this because I see it in my own life, but we're in a state of this head hypnosis. And the reason is because the head is the masculine principle, and we've taken that journey out away from the heart, away from the core of our birthplace. So in the head, we have a state of fear, and you can see through this chart. Now, for people joining this masterclass, I know this is nothing new to you. It's just we need to be reminded of this. And this is the foundational setup day today. This is all the pre-frame for what we're going to travel through across the next 5 days. The orientation has pressure. There's a pressure to perform. There's a pressure to be liked. There's a pressure to be perfect. There's a pressure to get things right. And this is what I call the head hypnosis, or the head sedation. And I've been very involved in and very close to people in the personal development industry. And there is a couple of weak spots. There's a couple of blind spots to that. And a lot of it is because it is so head-based. It's so on the pressure. It's the goal of the head hypnosis is to survive. And the strategy it wants to use is to control. It only wants to do the familiar. It's like, I've done this before. I know this works. I'm just going to repeat that. Repeat, rinse, repeat, go on the cycle and just keep doing that thing. This is all head hypnosis. The approach is there's a fair bit of avoidance. It's like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's scary. I don't want to change. I don't want to evolve. I don't want to heal. I don't want to grow. I'm not in control now. So therefore, I will avoid. And the head hypnosis identifies with lack. It perceives that there's a big lack on the external world. So therefore, I will build the big business. Therefore, I'm unloved externally. Therefore, I will want the dream house or the luxury car or whatever it is. So there is this perceived lack on the external world, and the head hypnosis loves this territory. And so it actually requires to be courageous, to take a leap from the head hypnosis into the heart. And the greatest journey humanity will go on is from the head down into the heart. It's the biggest journey. And the reason we're going to come back down into the heart is because this is an incredible portal. And I really like portals. I like pyramids, I like portals, and I like stargates. Because now you're really playing in the quantum field. And if you really want to accelerate anything in the external world, a big piece of my acceleration and a big piece of my own contentment and fulfillment and wholeness came from melting and merging more and more into the quantum field. We'll get more into that in day 3. So the heart is such a different state to be in. The heart is sweet. It's good. It's got no problems. It is fulfilled. And it is in presence. And rather than its pull to attachment, which funnily enough is forgetting, I'll get that, I want that. The pull of the heart is desire from a complete state of remembrance. And the goal I call E2. It's simply about experiencing life and expanding life. It's actually not too concerned about survival, your heart. Now, the strategy around the heart is very courageous. It has awareness. It's prepared to do the unfamiliar. And so it requires great courage to be aware. And I love the root word of courage because it's core, C-O-R. And that's the Latin word for heart, core, courage. And it's one of the earliest forms when courage meant to speak one's mind by telling what was on the heart. I think we've forgotten this, to speak one's mind of what was on the heart. This is real courage. So it requires bravery to step away from the matrix. It requires bravery to say, to walk away from the head hypnoses. These things are pretty good at the head hypnoses. Yeah, you go down into the scrolling hole. The head hypnoses, keeping up with the Joneses, doing or what others expect you to do, or what your own expectations is because you think that's just the collective agreement of how you ought to do life. And the powerhouse of the heart is that it is always in wholeness internally. And this is such a big, big piece for understanding manifestation and creating on the external reality, is when the internal reality knows that it is whole. There is nothing missing. And a real powerful place to manifest from is knowing that you are whole and fulfilled internally, because you actually get given then what you already have. You can't get given what you don't have. So this is a big piece we'll go deeper into later down in the week. Now I'm just going to jump into and dip our toes in DNA. This is just a sprinkle of DNA because I work a lot with DNA now. I came across these teachings perhaps 6 to 8 years ago. And I started really merging that more and more with what I was learning in the personal development, what I was implementing with clients, and what I was able to tactically kind of see in my life in terms of manifestation. And then I discovered DNA and I was like, holy moly, how come we're all not jumping into this? Because it was the biggest piece to the jigsaw puzzle. And so as we continue to make those pathways into the new earth frequencies, as we're taking that homeward, inward journey, it requires a whole upgrade to the system as we're experiencing, as we have the physical manifestations of that. The upgrading of the system is the recalibration of the way we perceive our thinking processes to be. And we think predominantly from the head, and because we think we are, therefore we exist. But there is something much, much more magical and more powerful going inside the DNA and going on inside the cellular structure of the human. And so as those beautiful higher light quotient and higher evolving consciousness begins to bathe the planet, begins to happen within the cellular structure of humanity, it is pointing more and more towards such an untapped resource within humanity, which is the DNA. And for me, this was the biggest gateway. This is when I really began to solidify the Golden Path teachings, the marriage of ascension with enterprise. I began to see natural order of purpose and proportion all around nature, but also within my own life. So here DNA is just a little quick taste tester for today, just to kind of massage this idea across the week. Deoxy, the Latin root meaning is God. Ribo, in Arabic, it means rabbi, master, or the Lord. Nucleic is the center, and then acid is the chemical fire. So therefore, DNA really translates to God, my master, the consuming fire in the center of my being. And when I first read that line, I had an experience. I was like, we are really on to something now, humanity. And then, believe it or not, we're actually designed to have our DNA switched on. I'm like, well, give me the remote control. I'm like, turn it on. And so the greatest masters, the ascended masters, the leading ladies of light who have graced this planet before, they were just operating from a space of 100% or closer to 100% of their DNA turned on. I'm like, okay, well, turning on my DNA is now on my wish list. It wasn't on my wish list before, but now it very much is. Krishna, Paramahansa, Yogananda, Jesus, Satya Sai Baba. Oh my gosh, the difference is their DNA is turned on. The DNA is packed with so many quantum abilities and it's really you accessing your multidimensional nature. And so for me, what began to happen is I began to be able to clearly access my own Akashic records. I began to have deep soul remembrances. It became quite easy for me to be in parallel and past and future timelines, not because of a big spiritual awakening, not because I went deep into breath work or I had an experience, just simply because I gathered the information to unlock how the mechanics of spirit work. And then I got out of that head hypnosis, more into that heart of my wholeness and my presence. And all I wanted to do was align more and more the portal of my heart with my DNA. This is why I'll speak a lot about the heart, the portal of the heart, and then merging that and unifying that with every single portal inside the center point of the cells, which is opening up and relaxing and allowing that beautiful DNA coil to unfurl. And then I was like, now we're cooking with gas. I'm like, okay, game on. We're here to merge spirituality and humanity. We're here to fuse our humanness with our quantum. This is when people say, I'm building a bridge, or we're ascending from the 3D, the third dimension, the third density, with the fifth density, the fifth dimension. What they're asking and inviting us to do is merge our humanness with our quantum. We are here to create the foundation for the new human. We create the new human by what we're able to experience within our cellular structure. We create the new human. We create the new earth. Everything happens within the body. And I remember asking and talking to a big channeler maybe 10 years ago when I was living in Melbourne, and I asked him a question. I put my hand up and there was so many people in the room. And I was like, where is this ascension process happening? Where? And he looked at me and was like, Myra. I'm like, yes, please don't drill me. He's like, the ascension process happens within the cells of your body. And I'm like, I knew it. I'm so glad I had the courage to ask, because I'm like, I knew it. And me just getting that confirmation, getting that feedback from someone that I believe to be a real wholesome leader in this space, I was like, yep, we're really, well, at that point in my journey, I was like, yes, this is confirmation, because this is the same information that I'm getting over and over again. The ascension process happens within the cells of your body. You can go on any pilgrimage, you can travel all around the world, you can have peaks and troughs in your spiritual experiences, have cosmic galactic visitations or whatever. It's like whatever expression, but the truth of the matter is that the ascension process is actually happening within the cells of your body. And it must do. Because the more we work with that inner energetic architecture within, that is the upgrade of the software. That is the access to what I call the motherboard, or like the control panel. And the DNA is the motherboard. The heart portal becomes the control panel. And if you can work these two features in your life more and more and more, you will absolutely be holding the master keys, and you will realize for yourself how you can begin to rapidly change the external world and completely begin to reshape your reality. But it will not come from the head hypnosis. It will not come from there. So back to this on page 5. We have a lot of people in humanity running from the head hypnosis. There's a lot of attachment to big dreams, to big goals, an improvement and optimum levels of health. And we're so attached. I'll stop the share so I can just come back and talk to you here. And for those students in the Zoom room at all, if you have any questions, you can pop them into the chat. And if there's any questions from those watching in the Facebook Live, just pop them into the chat as well, and my team will bring them to my attention. But I'm happy to answer any questions as we go through this. So this head hypnosis, I'm just going to unpack this a little bit more. The orientation is always for survival. It's because when we lived in tribes back in the day, if we were to go outside the thoughts and beliefs and parameters of that tribe, or if we were to venture further afield, that would be very detrimental. Not only would it be a big threat on our own life, it would actually very much threaten the existence of the tribe. And we're wired for connection. We're actually wired into community connection and tribes. However, as soon as we kind of play that script, it's like, oh, well, I won't speak up if I've got another viewpoint, or I've got another opinion. So this is where these two stories begin to butt up. I'm wired for connection, and I wish to survive and be a part of the tribe. I wish to belong to my soul tribe and a community. But at the same time, it's now I have to step more and more into my heart, and the heart is courageous. The heart is actually called to do the unfamiliar. So this is like where these worlds begin kissing up and getting a little bit sticky. And across this week, I'm going to share more and more practices with you that keep you in that heart portal. And when we make the distinction that, oops, I've slipped into that head hypnosis again. The first thing we need to do is have awareness. The second piece is we must have huge amounts of compassion. So much compassion for yourself. It's okay that I've slipped up. It's okay that I want those things. It's okay that I think having more of this or more of that is going to make me a more fulfilled person. It's okay to think that, because you're up against the Matrix, Hollywood, mainstream media, social media, the financial system that's governing the planet, the government system, and the education system. So you're up against a lot in these head hypnoses. So have a little bit of compassion for yourself, that it's okay to slip into those places again. The head hypnoses will usually fire off your addictions, sugar, caffeine, alcohol, gambling. It's like whatever it is, people pleasing, and then it will fire off your patterns. And it will also trigger your stories. I'm not important enough. I won't speak up because my family won't accept me. I'll get my dream partner after I've launched my successful business. I won't launch my successful business because I need to study more. I need more certificates. These are just stories. And the funny thing is the remembering is actually bringing the members of self back, attaching the limbs back to self. That is what remembering means, those fragmented pieces of self, the parts of ourselves that we may be ashamed of. Bringing those back and remembering them back onto the temple or the vessel of this thing here. And that is that heart space more and more in which we will continue to kind of unpack. There's a beautiful story about when the acorn seeds fall to the ground. And the acorn seeds are there, and they're not comparing themselves to other acorn seeds or bickering with one another. Oh, you're bigger, I'm smaller. You're more wet, I'm more dry. And this is the head hypnosis. If we were to imagine all the acorn seeds that had fallen to the ground, and we're looking at them and they're like squabbling and bickering with one another, we're like, oh, what on earth are they doing? Don't they know that they're the grandmother oak tree? Don't they know that? And we see all the little acorn seeds bickering and fighting amongst themselves and wanting to survive, and they're being attached to the idea of being the acorn seed. We're like, oh my God, don't they know? I'm like, someone go in there and tell these acorn seeds that they're an oak tree. Don't you get it? But it's like you don't get it until you've crossed over into that deeper knowing and have the perspective of looking back, and you're like, silly acorn seed. And then the acorn seed, if it can just surrender, if it can come out of the head hypnosis, and if it can come into the heart, if it could know that it's whole just as it is, if it could come into fulfillment, it would come into its purpose. It would come into its golden path, because the golden path teaching is purpose with divine proportion. And when we look to nature, when we look to the cosmos, everything is operating in purpose, married with divine proportion. The sunflower seed knows in proportion what length the stem needs to be to hold the weight of the flower head on the sunflower. This is what I mean by proportion. And there's an individual proportion within you that will express its purpose in proportion with nature. And we're putting quantities onto our goal settings, saying this figure in the bank account, this number of investment properties. One of my tricks is, which I'll go into in this masterclass, is I don't quantify anything. I don't quantify anything because I'm so open and I trust the heart and I trust the divine mastery of my own soul blueprint that it knows the proportion at which I must exist on this planet. And there is a relief to that. There is a deep melting and a surrendering of that, because it doesn't flip me back up into that head hypnosis again. Because the head sedation wants me to control. The head sedation wants to know 10 steps ahead. So my goal setting and the way and the framework in which I manifested has shifted more and more. And I'm showing you as to why that would be. Why there are certain things that just do not work anymore. You can steamroll over the top and manufacture results. I've met those people. They're deeply unfulfilled. They're actually quite scared and fearful and very attached. If I was to take that business structure away from them, they would be deeply, deeply lost. They would definitely need therapy because they wouldn't know who they were without the identity of that attachment. So we're coming from it from such a different energetic framework. And this is actually the truth. And it's uncomfortable because your head hypnosis is going to fight against me so much this week. The more you're attached, the more you want to control this masterclass, the more you want to do the familiar and go back to your old stories and have another shot of coffee today because you're like, well, that was a little bit uncomfortable what Myra spoke about. Or I don't understand her. Or I'm going to pressure myself. I'm going to pressure myself to get the workbook immediately and just implement everything she's done. I'm massaging out this head sedation and this head hypnosis. Because if the little acorn seeds dropped out of their head hypnosis and they dropped into the heart and they surrendered deep into the soil, nature's blueprint and the individual soul spark blueprint of that acorn seed would open up more and more into the quantum field and begin to grow in purpose and divine proportion. And that seed would grow into a strong, powerful, stable grandmother oak tree. And it's hard to tell the acorn seed that because they wouldn't believe you. It actually would have a very difficult time understanding that it even had the potentiality for that. They'd go, "What? I'm so small. I'm so small. There's 1,000 other seeds around me. Pick another seed. Make him do the growing, not me." And this is the two different energies on the planet. And they're going to ramp up the head hypnoses more and more and more to keep humanity sedated. And the reason they want to do that is because control. Yeah, thumbs up. Zoom agrees with me. Thanks, Mark Zuckerberg. Because you can control. And there is such a great wave of awakening sweeping the planet right now that you cannot control. You cannot put reins on this thing. The battle of light and darkness has already been won. What we're seeing is just the lag time on the pages of linear time. That's all. There's a lag time to this. So the individual has their journey across the field of time. But the light has actually already grounded itself. It is very much here. And we are re-establishing and recalibrating the systems of our body now to begin to orientate more and more and more into the heart portal and that of the DNA field. And so it is a big leap. And it's going to be unfamiliar. You're not going to be able to control it. You will be deeply fulfilled, though. And the whole orientation of my life now is just having more and more set sequences of high quality life experiences. From a deep state of fulfillment and wholeness, How present can I be in this moment with you? Because it's the power of my presence that accelerates my manifestation. It accelerates my expression of pouring my divinity into my body and into my outer world. And I'm not sure how many people put on their manifestation lists or goal lists to be deeply fulfilled right now. And the truth of the matter is when we actually begin to understand the power of presence, there is no bigger and better moment than this moment right now that I'm having with you. Like, this is it. You can't top this moment. And the head hypnosis comes in with a very different storyline. It says, delay your fulfillment, and you'll be fulfilled in the future when that money hits your bank account, or when you sign up your first client, or when you've got your car, home, partner, dream partner. And so it's going to delay its presence and delay its fulfillment and wholeness for this future idea that it thinks, it perceives that that's going to be a bigger and better moment. It's not true. But the marketing and advertising and head hypnosis will make you, they broadcast that message really quite strongly. Do you notice how those broadcasting messages need to repeat, repeat, repeat? It's because they want to hardwire that story. And it is a false story. That story makes sense to the head hypnosis, but the more we can untether ourselves and drop into the heart portal, the more you realize that there is actually nothing more powerful than this moment that I'm having with you right now. You actually can't top this moment. And there is nothing bigger and better ahead of me that is more sweeter and more fulfilled than this moment right now. If that doesn't make sense just yet, it will across the week. And it is such an incredible, freeing and joyful and liberating, energetic field to live in. And I assure you, you will absolutely reshape your reality. And whatever we work on and begin to write later at the end of the masterclass, where we start putting things pen to paper, you'll be like, not sure if I want that now. Because you can have it right now, in this now moment. That's a really powerful place to manifest from. This is true alchemy. This is true alchemy of what's known as the Philosopher's Stone, of when the early alchemists, they'd be changing the chemical structure of lead into gold. And so they realized if you can change matter, which the early alchemists and high priests and high priestesses know how to do, if you can change matter, you can change anything in your reality. And the way you turn lead to gold is through the alchemical processes of coming into a portal. It's not done through third density. It's done in the quantum field of the fifth dimensional frequencies. It's when they say grace flushes or bathes someone when they go through a deep somatic healing process or shedding layers of grief or trauma. That is an alchemical process that is happening in the body. The body cell memory is vibrating faster through the breath work or the meditation or the body work. It's to get the body cell structure vibrating higher and higher and higher. And as it shakes and shakes, it shakes, the debris of the old packaged trauma begins to exit the cell. And what remains is spaciousness in the cell, because that debris has been released. Spaciousness is filled with more spaciousness. One of my goals began to shift. I'm like, I don't want to cram everything into my week. I actually want to build a business and serve with a lot of spaciousness. I'm a mother to a 6-year-old son. I serve a lot of women and clients in my community at temple nights, international retreats and coaching and mentorship programs. And I'm like, how do I do this with so much spaciousness? And then I realized the more spaciousness I had in my calendar, it creates more spaciousness in the cells of my being. And if I've got more spaciousness in the cells of my being, do you know what it gets filled with? It gets filled more with the light quotient. It gets filled more with my multidimensional abilities. It gets filled more with my quantum attributes. So the connection to your higher self goes up. The ability to read and forecast the field begins to get really laser focused. I'm always in the perfect place. I'm always in the right place at the right time. This is how you get clients in your business. It flows on, the external manifestations of this are exponential and eternal. There's all eternal representations and manifestations, but we must adjust the operating system. This is an upgrade for humanity. And the ones that hold more and more onto the head hypnoses are going to fight and struggle the most because they're wanting to control. So towards the end of the workbook, everyone that registers, you'll be emailed a replay of day 1, and you'll be emailed also the workbook. Towards the end of the workbook are exercises that I would love the community to do. One of those exercises is called the Triple Heart Connection, Triple Heart Meditation. I'm just going to explain what this meditation is, the Triple Heart Meditation. And we can just have an experience of this now. So if we just sit up, a lot of my meditations and teachings are taught from a straight spine as much as we can. The reason I want the straight spine is I want to teach the body and teach the consciousness that it is awake and aware, that you have taken human physical form. You can gently shut down your eyes if you wish, and just take a deep 3 kind of centering breaths, deep, deep, deep down into the belly. Beautiful. And the Triple Heart Connection meditation is, first of all, traveling up, 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 up into the stars, into the sky. You can make it up, you can visualize, you can use your imagination. If nothing's coming to you, just make it up. And you're going to travel up into the heart of the cosmos. So just find whatever representation or image that looks for you. It might be the center point of a blinding, great, big star. It might be in the middle of our solar sun, or it may be in a big black vortex inside the grand central sun. But just find the heart of the cosmos. And once you've kind of anchored in there and got an awareness of the heart of the cosmos, I want you to come down now into the heart of your body. This beautiful heart chamber. And we have such a forward-thinking navigation over our life. So when I say the heart chamber, many people come into the front of the heart chamber, but I'd like to invite you now into the back doorways of the heart, at the back of the body, and just notice the subtle shifts that that brings into your field. Opening up the back of the heart. You should notice a profound difference. This is the heart of the body. Allow it to expand a beautiful 360 degrees now, through the sides of the body, out under the armpits. And when that feels a little bit more established, I want you to just leave that there and then discover the heart of the planet. Deep, deep, dropping deeper and deeper through all the layers of our planet, of Gaia, deep into her core, her heart. And just find the heart and the pulse of this planet. And now I'd like you to link your awareness between the heart of Gaia up into the open heart chambers of your body, the front and the back. And then link that to the heart of the cosmos. And you'll feel this incredibly strong connection, this beautiful pillar of light. This is your column of ascension. the triple heart connection from the heart of our planet through the open heart chambers, all 4 chambers of the heart open in the body and up into the heart, the beautiful sphere of the heart of our cosmos. And allowing this energy and this remembrance to bathe over every single cell of your being. And just take 1 or 2 deep breaths from this knowing and this remembrance. And this beautiful triple heart connection is indeed creating the foundation for the new human and the new earth. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your dedication into these practices of fulfillment and of presence. When one returns themselves back to a state of wholeness, we will see humanity and this planet returned to a state of wholeness. Gently opening your eyes now and coming back into the room, taking a sip of water if you need to. And the final page of the workbook, when it's sent out to everyone and made available, is another practice called Resetting to Your Divinity. These 2 practices, the triple heart connection and resetting to your divinity, sorry, yay, I'm celebrating. These 2 practices form the foundational pieces to all of my work. So we're really getting into this foundation. When this foundation is solid and strong, the individual will be able to stand in their sovereignty on their own 2 feet, and you will have a direct connection into your God source. Yeah? When you're like this, you cannot be controlled. You cannot be swayed into other people's broadcast messages. You can't be swayed into other people's storylines of how your life ought to be. And this is such a powerful, powerful place. And there's so much power laying dormant within the cells of your body, within the DNA. And I cannot wait to explore tomorrow with you, day 2. So if you're joining us for day 2, we are at 7:30 p.m. Tuesday, the 14th of May, Australian Eastern Standard Time. All the replays and workbooks will be made available on the email that you've registered with. It'll also be shared live inside the private Facebook group, the Golden Path Experience. And I've just remembered we've got a draw to do. So on day 1, if you shared on socials or you shared about the work class, people got entered into a special draw where you win $888 Golden Path dollars to spend on any of, I do a beautiful Soul's Highest Mission reading, looking at the 3 templates inside your Merkaba. You can use it towards coaching, mentorship, retreats, live experiences. So let's see who the winner is for today. My team have put all the names in here. Oh, beautiful. Emma Leek. Congratulations, Emma. You are the winner of the special draw, winning 888 Golden Path dollars to spend. Thank you, Emma. My team will be in contact with you within the next 24 hours. So congratulations. Well done. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on day 1. Been an absolute blessing having your divine presence with me here. And remember, there is nothing in the future that is going to be bigger and better than this moment right now. I love you all so much. Thank you for your service, and I can't wait to share day 2 with you tomorrow. Bye for now.